So when I work with my clients now, I go to great lengths to try and understand what toxicity they're exposed to. So recently, I've got this young lady that's a client of mine. She's got multiple sclerosis. And I normally love going to a person's home because then you can see these things. I can open cupboards. I can see what toxins are hiding in the cupboards and in the personal care products and the household chemicals and the pesticides and so forth. But it was very interesting. Our focus was on reducing her EMF exposure where she sleeps. So we went through the bedroom, and because she lives very far from where I am, we did a video, basically a video interview. And as she scrolled past her bed, I saw something in the corner, and I said, just go back. And guess what it was? It was mold.
Oh.
And it took me quite a while to convince her that mold is an issue. But now she's really realized that mold is one of the triggers in her symptoms. And it's very interesting. If we now look at research, I look at research by Beth O'Hara, where she says that many times MS symptoms are as a result of mold toxicity. And sometimes it's even misdiagnosed. So it is so fascinating. And then I started talking to some of my other clients. I also came across that they've been exposed to mold. And the interesting thing about mold is, and this is where I want the listeners to carefully listen to what I'm saying. Even if you were exposed to mold 10 years ago, you might still battle with that toxicity. Which means you could be in a different environment, you're not exposed to it anymore, but it still affects you. So you have to deal with the problem, and I always say address the root cause. So you may have moved to address the root cause, but you still have the infection in your body, which you need to get rid of. And then I watched some very fascinating videos. Neil Nathan is a doctor. He removes fungal growths in sinuses as a result of mold. He specializes in that. It is fascinating. He gets patients that are so ill, they can't walk, they can't talk. The moment they remove those fungal growths from their sinuses, within a week, that person can walk and talk. That is how critical it is. So I think from what I've seen is there's a couple of ways it manifests. Some of it is skin dermatitis, and now we're going back to screen dermatitis, or skin rashes. It could be in the sinuses. For some people it goes into their lungs and it causes respiratory issues. But the interesting one is for many people it goes and sits in the gut, and it causes a lot of gut issues because you've got fungal gut growth in the gut. So it's just absolutely fascinating. Some people, it even affects their eyes because they get fungal growth in their eyes.
I even had patients, with ear infections because of mold. And they didn't understand, and the doctor really didn't pick up on it. And Davida, I mean, you would agree also that even if you treat it successfully, people are still forever, I would say, sensitized. So they have to be careful. I mean, a single treatment may be very successful, but they cannot go back if they don't really take care of the exposure situation from mold or from ticks or from anything else, because otherwise they will fall back all the time. And also, as you pointed out, these colossal energies that we feed our bioelectrical systems with today, we call it cell phones, Wi-Fi, and so on, and they could deteriorate your immune system, but at the same time, and that's the double scary situation, they will feed the energy into simple organisms like bacteria, which will use it from the bacterial point of view very successfully, becoming antibiotic resistant, as we have talked about before. So you get the double provocation. Your immune system goes down, opens up for super bacteria, super viruses, maybe parasites, etc. And your body cannot cope any longer, and suddenly you're handicapped, to say the least, and people even are so ill, so they are on the very edge of dying. And you need to pick up on all of this. And I mean, you mentioned Sharon Goldberg, who is an excellent physician, And all the physicians are, of course, very good around the world, but they don't have any training, no teaching within these areas. So they wouldn't naturally pick up on anything of it. And it's a hard time both for the person with the illness or the electrohypersensitivity or the multiple chemical sensitivity, as well as for the treatment provider, the physician, the alternative medical person or whatever, to really find the culprits and understand